So in last lecture, we have started with the Hadoop. In that we have seen like Hadoop is an open source framework from Apache Foundation, and it is capable of processing the large amount of heterogeneous data, working in a distributed fashion in the form of clusters, and it also reliable shared storage and also used for the analysis purpose. Then we have seen how the HDFS is there, that is what is the architecture of Hadoop distributed file system. So here HDFS is scalable and reliable data storage working in a large amount of clusters, and it also works closely with MapReduce. HDFS have working in a master slave architecture where there is a single master node, that is a name node, which manages the file system namespace and also access the files requested by clients. And there are number of slaves like data nodes are there where the data is stored in the form of blocks. The size of block is 64 MB in size. The name node executes file system namespace operation like opening, closing, and renaming files and directories, whereas the data nodes are responsible for serving read and write requests from file system client. The data node also perform block creation, deletion, replication upon the instruction from name node. So data node only works when some instruction is coming from a master node, that is name node. We have seen this architecture like whenever HDFS client is requesting anything, that request is handled by name node. Also name node have the backup purpose secondary name node. Name node divides the work to the worker node, that is name node, where data is stored in the form of blocks, and every name node is having the data stored on their local disk. So it is used for the distributed network and used for balancing and replication of data and for hard bits. Then we have seen how a MapReduce job is get run on a Hadoop. So it requires to write down a MapReduce program where it consists of three classes: driver, mapper, and reducer. We have seen what is the working of driver class, mapper class, reducer class, and shuffle and sort. Now we'll start with a new point today, that is what are the different additional consideration is required while structuring a MapReduce program or job. So several Hadoop features are provided additional functionality to a MapReduce job. So apart from map, reduce, shuffle, and sort, two main functionalities you can also use while writing a code. One is called as the combiner and second is called as the partitioner. The working of combiner is it applies between map task and shuffle and sort task. So the place of combiner is between mapper and shuffle and sort. Also, it minimizes the amount of intermediate map output. When the output of map is very huge, and it can increase the time limit for shuffle and sort. So in between we can add a combiner where the output of mapper get combined and that combined output is given to the shuffle and sort. Second is a partitioner. It separates the output onto separate file from subsequent analysis, where you don't want to combine the output in a one file. After your reducer actually generate the output and combine the output in a one file. But sometimes client does not want a final output in a one file. They want a scattered output files for some another purpose of analysis. So that time after reducer, a partitioner is coming where it just divide the output in a different separate files for subsequent analysis purpose. It also ensures that the workload is evenly distributed across the reducer. So these are the two different additional considerations that we can use when you are working with a map and reduce. Now, how to write down a MapReduce program in a Hadoop. So what are the different language options are available to write down a program? So very first option is you can use a Java, which is a most popular language generally used to write down a MapReduce or Hadoop code. Apart from Java, you can use another language which is called as the Hadoop Streaming API, which requires the knowledge of Python, C, or Ruby. So if you are having a good knowledge of Python, C, and Ruby, so you can write down a code in a Hadoop Streaming API. Third option is write down in a Hadoop Pipes language where it uses a C++ code. If you are very good in C++, instead of thinking Java, you can think for Hadoop Pipes. So these are the three different language options to write down Hadoop MapReduce code. Next point is, whatever we have seen is a Hadoop version 1.0, where only two things are implemented in a Hadoop. One is HDFS, that is Hadoop Distributed File System Storage Structure. And second is MapReduce, where you write down a code in a mapper and reducer for processing the data. But in a version 2 of Hadoop, one more layer is added in between MapReduce and HDFS. And that layer is called as YARN. Sorry. So YARN is working in between the MapReduce and HDFS. It is coming in a Hadoop version 2. And apart from YARN, some other data processing frameworks are also added. So we'll see why YARN is added here. Here, the long form of YARN is yet another resource negotiator. The technology is used for job scheduling and resource management, and one of the main component in Hadoop, which is called as YARN. So YARN is mainly used for scheduling a job, as number of jobs are coming and we have to run the jobs in a parallel. So which data node will work for which job, so that job scheduling is done very properly. And if the number of resources are less, how to manage that resources between the name node, data node, or between the client. So all this responsibility is done by the YARN. YARN stands for yet another resource negotiator, though it is called as YARN by the developer. YARN was previously called MapReduce version 2 and Next Gen MapReduce. So before the name coming YARN, it is also known as MapReduce 2 or Next Gen MapReduce. This enables Hadoop to support different processing types. It runs interactive queries, streaming data, and real-time applications. So mainly it is used when you want to work on a real-time application, when your data is very huge, like in the form of videos where you require the streaming of data, and some interactive queries, means at the running time you are firing a query and you want a quicker output depend on the data which is available at that time. So for this purpose, YARN you can use. Also it supports broader range of different applications. YARN combines several resource manager with different container. So in YARN, there are different containers are there, and that all containers will be managed by a central device called as the resource manager. It can combine the resources dynamically to different applications, and the operations are monitored as well. So here, all the resources are combined dynamically and it is distributed to the different applications required for different operations, and all that resources are also managed, like which application is requiring that resource, how much it is utilizing, how much time it is free likewise. So this is a very simple architecture of YARN, where when a client is submitting a job or requesting for a job, then that is handled by first resource manager, where it founds like what or how many resources are required to complete this job is that all resources are available, and to which application manager that resources are allotted. Apart from resource manager, node manager is there, who actually manages the data node. Then next is container, where data get resides. And next is application manager, where actual code of your MapReduce is resides. There are different types of arrows have been used between this architecture, where this red arrow indicate the submission of job. This black thick arrow is node status, where resource manager always check the status of node, which node is free, which node is heavily like working. So he is not going to give the job to that heavily working node. It founds the which nodes are free and perform the job faster. Then this third type of arrow, which is coming from master, application master to resource manager, it is a resource request, where to run that particular application, whatever the resources are required by that application, it is requesting that resources from resource manager. And last one is MapReduce status, which is between the container, one container to another container, or from one container to application manager, where the container checks the status of MapReduce, means whatever the job has been given. So at what status that job is in a working state. So here we will see the information of each and every component of YARN architecture. First is resource manager. It runs on a master domain and manages the resources allocation in the clusters. Second is node manager. They run on the slave domain and are responsible for the execution of a task on every single data node. So they are mainly used or responsible for executing a given job or task. And it also works on every single data node. Third one is application master. It manages the user's job life cycle. Like for your project, you have a life cycle, HDFC life cycle. So likewise, when job is submitted, it is working in a different life cycle. Like first it is given to mapper, then shuffler, then reducer, then generating a final output. So this is a life cycle of a job. So it manages the user's job life cycle and resources needed of an individual application. It works along with the data node and monitors the execution of task also. And last one is a container. It is a package of resources including RAM, CPU, network, hard disk, etc. on a single node. So every single node is having a container where your actual CPU and RAM is there, where your code is actually get executed. Your data is read from data node into the RAM, and the working is done on that data. It also have its hard disk to store the data at a local disk drive. So this is how, what is a YARN and what is the architecture of YARN and what is a use of each and every component in that architecture. So here the first point from our syllabus we have completed, that is we have seen the different use cases. 3 use cases we have seen: IBM Watson, second is LinkedIn, and third one is Yahoo. Then second is MapReduce we have seen in detail, like when a job is given, like we have seen the example of word count. So how that work is divided into the mapper, how mapper works, how the output is generated in the form of key value pair, which is also handled by shuffler and sorter. The output of shuffler and sorter is given as an input to the next level, that is reducer, where reducer actually generate the final output, combine all the output and generate the output file. And last we have seen the Apache Hadoop in detail, where we have seen what is the overview of Hadoop, then Hadoop distributed file system, how MapReducer is run on Hadoop, what kind of classes are required, what additional consideration are required, and how Yarn is added in a Hadoop in version 2, and what is the architecture and role of Yarn. So we have completed the first point from our syllabus. Now we'll start with the second point, that is Hadoop ecosystem. Ecosystem means apart from MapReduce, what are the different other applications or other APIs are added in a Hadoop ecosystem for better functionality. So we are going to see here 5 different points: Pig, Hive, HBase, Mahout, and NoSQL. Apart from this, Hadoop ecosystem having a very different versions also, like different ecosystems also. So this is a simple diagram of Hadoop ecosystem, where at the lower level a Hadoop distributed file system works, which already we have seen. Above that, a Yarn or MapReduce version 2 works, that is also we have seen. Then apart from that, what are the different ecosystem parts are there, like there is an Flum, Scoop, Zookeeper, Pig, Hive, Mahout, OZ, then HBase, which is an column store data. This is an workflow data. It is very similar to like your SQL. SQL में जैसे queries लिखते हैं वैसे Hive में queries लिखा जाता है. Then Pig is like your scripting language, where you actually write a script like you are writing in a Linux or Unix. Zookeeper is actually used for coordinating all the data between all these different parts. Flum is used for controlling the log, to maintain the log. All the things which is done by Hadoop, all that log is stored by Flum. Scoop is actually used for data exchange when you have more than one application and you want to exchange the data between different applications. So that time you can use a Scoop. Apart from that, at the top, actually your client is working, which is called as the Hadoop User Experience, HUE. So this is a simple Hadoop ecosystem is there, where a different components are there. We are going to see some components from this. So here we'll start with a Pig. So this is a very common logo used for Pig. You know what is the meaning of Pig. So in the logo also they have used, this is an elephant is an logo used for Hadoop. So in that one part is a pig. So they have used this kind of logo for that. So first we'll see the architecture of Pig here. So this is a very simple architecture again, where at the lower level of Hadoop, your file system is working. I have taken this diagram from Dataflare. Okay, so here in your book, you will find some other diagram. There are different types of diagrams are available on the internet. You can take any of the diagram. So here we'll see this diagram, where at the lower level, there is always an HDFS, that is Hadoop distributed file system is working at lower level. Before above that, and MapReduce is working, and at the upper level there is an Pig Latin script, as Pig is a scripting language where all your code is coming in the form of script, in a Latin script. So whenever script is generated, that script is given to the Apache like Pig executor, and after executing that script, that executor engine gives that script to MapReduce, and then it gives it to the HDFS. Whatever output is generated, it is generated by MapReduce, and again it gives the output back to the user. Here in Apache Pig, there is an shell. You know, like if you are working on a Linux, that command, that prompt where you are actually writing a script is called as a shell. So here grunt shell is used. Again, there is an Pig server. When you write down a script, so you write down a script on a shell, which is read by the server. Then server just parse your script in a tokens, then that script is given to the optimizer where your script is optimized. मतलब उसको अगर थोड़ा छोटा कर सकते हैं तो छोटा करते हैं, यानी कॉस्ट कटिंग, अगर जैसे कम टाइम में उसको कैसे एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हैं वो उसको किया जाता है. After optimizer, that script is given to the compiler where it actually compiles, and after compilation it is given to the execution engine where your code get executed. So this is a very simple architecture of Pig. I hope you understood this architecture. So Apache Pig is consist of, first is data flow language, second is Pig Latin scripting language, and environment to execute the Pig code. The main benefit of using Pig is to utilize the power of MapReduce in a distributed system. So instead of writing a bigger code of MapReduce, you can just write down a simple scripts and you can run that script on a distributed environment, while simplifying the task of developing and executing a MapReduce job. So it just used to simplify the task or writing a script of MapReduce just by dividing it in the smaller scripts. Pig includes entering the Pig execution environment by typing Pig at a command prompt and then entering a sequence of Pig instruction lines at the grunt prompt. So it uses a grunt shell. So सबसे पहले जब आपको पिग ग्रंट पे जाने के लिए आपको सिंपल, जब भी आपको डॉलर ये कमांड प्रॉम्प्ट दिखता है, आपको सिर्फ वहां पे लिखना है पिग एंड जस्ट यू हैव टू एंटर इट. जैसे आप पिग लिख के एंटर करोगे तो आपको अनदर शेल दिखाई देगा डॉलर के आगे, दैट इज अ पिग ग्रंट where you can write down a different script. So here we have written a simple script like record equal to, so record is a one kind of variable, equal to load slash user slash customer dot txt ads, like this. Okay, so इसका मीनिंग क्या है कि ये एक टेक्स्ट फाइल है in your operating system at the location user. There is an one text file is there named as a customer dot txt. ये फाइल का डेटा वो क्या कर रहा है, लोड कर रहा है एक वेरिएबल के अंदर जिसका नाम है रिकॉर्ड. लेकिन ये वेरिएबल के अंदर लोड करते वक्त इस फाइल को वो स्टोर कर रहा है इन द फॉर्म ऑफ लाइक योर टेबल, जिसमें उसने बोला है कि इस फाइल के अंदर कस्टमर आईडी is a one field, first field with a data type integer, second field is of a first name, data type of a like character of array, third is again last name with the character means string in the form of array, and last one is again email id with the कैरेक्टर एरे, जिसको जैसे हम एसक्यूएल में varchar या कैरेक्टर बोलते हैं, तो varchar के बजाय यहाँ पे लिखा जाता है कैरेक्टर एरे एंड इंटीजर के लिए int लिखा जाता है. सो आफ्टर दिस इट इज गोइंग टू लोड द डेटा of this customer file in the form of such kind of field in the record. Then next you can apply another filtered record, second row we have entered here, जिसमें हमने एक सेकेंड क्वेरी लिखा है दैट इज फिल्टर रिकॉर्ड बाय ईमेल एड्रेस मैचेस डॉट स्टार @isp.com. ओके, तो जो भी डेटा रिकॉर्ड के अंदर स्टोर हुआ है वो रिकॉर्ड के अंदर जो ईमेल एड्रेस है उसके ऊपर फिल्टर लगाओ. ओके, फिल्टर मतलब लाइक वेयर एज ऑपरेशन, जिसमें वेयर एज के अंदर लाइक ऑपरेशन, तो ईमेल एड्रेस में जहां पे भी आपको आगे कुछ भी डेटा हो लेकिन एंड में @isp.com ये टाइप का, इफ यू फाउंड द ईमेल एड्रेस जस्ट फिल्टर दैट ईमेल एड्रेस एंड स्टोर all the information about that email address in the filtered record. Then third is store the filtered record into /user/isp customers. जो भी आउटपुट जनरेट हुआ है फिल्टर्ड रिकॉर्ड का, we want to store that output in some of the file. So here we are storing that output of filtered record into the isp_customer. ये फाइल के अंदर जो यूजर लोकेशन के ऊपर है वहां पे जाके वो क्या करेगा, इट इज गोइंग टू स्टोर इट. And last one is quit. Quit is used to quit from a command prompt of pig. Pig shell से बाहर आएगा. Pig shell के अंदर जाने के लिए आपको सिर्फ लिखना है pig pig, but you have to first install it in on your machine. After installation, go on your command prompt, write down pig. You will get a pig grunt shell. You can write down a different commands of pig, and after that you just write down a quit to quit from the pig command prompt. Then apart from writing a script, pig is also having a very different built-in functions also. Like first function is eval function. When you want to evaluate some expression, mathematical expression, you can use a command like load and store. So load is used to read the data of text file into the variable, and store is used to store the data from variable into the text file. Mathematical related operation like square, square root, cos, sine, tan, for that math related all functions are provided by pig. All operations you can perform on a string like comparison, finding a length, finding a substring, concatenating a string. So all kind of string related operation also have a built-in function in pig. And last is all function related to date and time are also provided by pig. Okay, so here we have completed the pig. So up till now, any questions from your side, students?